The call came in at 7 a.m. on March 4th, 1998. A man was down at St. Michael Catholic Church, lying in a pool of blood inside the school's hallway.
We were actually in the briefing for another homicide case when this one came in, and we were sent to go out to the scene. Another detective and I, Merle Ziegler, us were assigned, so we were the first two detectives on scene that morning.
The 911 caller said the man was 67-year-old Father Alfred Kunz, the parish priest.
To have a priest murdered inside a school in such a violent and bloody fashion shocked everyone.
Initially, it was quite a scene because you have the scene where you want to know what's going on, and then you have a lot of people that are arriving at that school and that church that day for what was going to be going on. And so there was just a lot of people that had to be isolated and interviewed. And then we had the neighborhood to start canvassing right away for anybody that saw or heard anything.
In 1998, Father Alfred Kunz had been pastor of the tiny St. Michael Church and School for 32 years. He was raised on Wisconsin farmland, not far from the village of Dane.
The community of Dane in the late 90s was small town, a lot of farmland, not a lot of crime. Most violent crime was domestic. And to have a murder of a priest was unheard of at that time, not only in Dane, but in all of Wisconsin and in much of the country.
Blood was everywhere, inside the hallway of the school. Cast off, an arterial spray was found on the lockers. Drops were found leading into the tiny apartment's bathroom. Some of Father Kunz's blood was brushed onto a doorframe, perhaps as the killer fled.
It was obvious by the condition of his body that he had been in a fight with this individual. His hands showed evidence of making contact.
Contact that would have left his assailant with noticeable injuries.
He had bruising on his hands that showed he probably got a few punches in. He had been, as a younger man, a Golden Gloves boxer. So even though he was small, he was strong and wiry and compact.
I don't know if he made contact with the person or lockers because those were right there, but he had some injuries, and he had some blunt force trauma to the head. None of those injuries would have killed him. Unfortunately, what took his life is his throat was slit.
My dear friends, he writes, as you know, you are about to enter into a union which is most sacred and most serious.
Father Kunz was a very controversial figure.
A good priest is going to also ruffle feathers.
It's really uncommon for a priest to be murdered, first of all. Second of all, for a priest to be murdered in such a brutal, violent fashion.
I think I was inclined to believe that the murder was related to corruption in the church, that it was an inside job.
Real Life Nightmare with Paul Holes, Sundays at 9. Only on HLN.